Conflict is part of life. Learning to deal with it is a critical life skill. Conflict doesn't harm our mental health, but the way we respond to it can help or harm it. Likewise, conflict doesn't harm relationships, but how you and they respond can build one or kill it. Conflict is what we feel when there's a gap between what we experience and expect. Mindfulness means that we're on the path to witnessing our emotions and not pulled into their energy. Michael Singer uses the analogy of being in the rapids versus being able to watch the rapids from the shore. Mindful means we are on the shore, able to see the emotional energy play out. If you prefer a tug-of-war example, when you're emotionally triggered, you're participating. When you're in mindfulness, you're watching the tug-of-war because you let go. When we feel conflict in a relationship, it's natural to feel the pull of some strong emotions. That is where you get an opportunity to practice mindfulness. When you notice the gap or the conflict, can you let go of your initial emotions and relax into clearer awareness? Doing is simple, but not easy. If you've been practicing moments of mindfulness, you have a fighting chance of getting out of the rapids and onto the shore, to be able to witness it all with wisdom. Every conflict has 4 critical stages. Stage 1 of a conflict is you notice there's a gap. Stage 2 of a conflict is whether to engage and how. Talk to them or avoid them. Stage 3 of a conflict is finding solutions and navigating setbacks in the conversation to reach some agreement. Stage 4 of the conflict is the follow-up. Back to stage 1 when you notice a gap. If you're mindful of the gap, you see your own internal reactions, stories, expectations, and baggage play out. What you are aware of, you can navigate. On the shore, you can notice without getting pulled into them. You're set up to engage the other person with curiosity and respect. If you're not mindful, you can easily create a story about the gap that will only harm the relationship. Let's say that the other person didn't show up on time for a dinner date, didn't text you, and you lost your reservation. Have you ever noticed your mind creating stories that they just don't respect me? Or, here we go again. I can't wait to hear the excuses. Your conversation with them won't go well if you're pulled into these emotionally charged narratives. Depending on your skill in stage 1, noticing the gap, you end up with either curiosity or animosity, as you're ready to engage the other person. At this point, all you know for sure is there's an expectation gap. That's it. You don't know why. That's why mindful curiosity sets you up for success when engaging the other person. Let's talk about stage 2, engaging the other person. If you're curious, then you can open by stating what you noticed, and to learn more about the why. I noticed that you're 15 minutes late. What happened? How should I be thinking about your arrival time? I thought we agreed to meet at 10. A narcissist, or someone who isn't trustworthy, tends to do one or more of 5 things I call the 5 Ds of gaslighting. 1 is to diminish. Not a big deal. Late, what's the big deal? 2 is to deflect. Shift the blame. You're late more than me. How dare you try to make this an issue? The 3rd D of gaslighting is to deceive. Lie. There was an accident that slowed everyone down, when there was no such thing. The 4th D of gaslighting is to diffuse or confuse. Late is a 19th century construct introduced by the mechanistic Newtonian physicists, who clearly didn't understand the ebb and flow of life. You do, and you look lovely. The 5th D of gaslighting is to deny. I didn't agree to an arrival time. This is a critical junction in the conversation and the relationship. If you were mindful, you noticed your reactions and were able to stay curious and respectful. You opened the conversation wanting to understand, and you're getting a narcissistic gaslighting response. Use mindfulness to speak to your emotions and redirect it to a more productive solution. I wanted to know why you were late, and I'm sensing misdirection. I feel frustrated because we lost our reservation, and I want to resolve this in a way that builds trust rather than harms it. Narcissists will return to gaslighting, such as a personal attack or some other form of responsibility avoidance. There you go again, being so dramatic about non-issues. I would love to enjoy just one night without your drama. If you can stay mindful, you might summarize what you're seeing and restate the goal. I wanted to understand why you were late. I'm not satisfied with your response. This is likely to happen again unless you and I can get on the same page on why and what will change. With the narcissist, the goal is control. Control of you and the situation while avoiding any form of responsibility, because that pushes up against unresolved issues. If the conversation moves back to personal attack, lies, confusion with irrelevant information, or they attempt to deny or diminish, end the conversation. You're being gaslighted. It's unwise to continue the relationship with someone who can't own their part of breakdowns. I spent 6 years in a relationship with someone suffering from narcissistic personality disorder, and nothing was resolved. Ever. Why did I stay for 6 years? I sugarcoated the problem. If you sugarcoat this experience and continue because they're not all bad, you'll experience more gaslighting until you're ready to move on. Don't call them a narcissist or refer to the conversation as gaslighting. Just let them know that you're not satisfied with the conversation and what you'll do next. If you get sucked into intense emotions, narcissists will use that against you, accusing you of being dramatic, angry, reactive, or the problem. So stay mindful and clear. Conflict can end relationships, but also grow healthy ones and move you to better mental health. Imagine that you're mindful of a gap with a healthy person. With honesty and clarity, they share what happened. That builds understanding. Based on that understanding, you create agreements on solutions. They will text you if they're running late. Thank you. That brings us to the final phase, which is follow-up. After the conflict and the solutions that are agreed upon, follow up. This builds trust or reveals problems. Some who suffer from narcissistic personality disorder will agree to anything but not do anything differently. This is a form of deception and a sign that the relationship won't improve. My narcissist not only didn't do what they said they would, but attacked me when I followed up. The mindful person won't react, but will share what they see with clarity and power. I'm noticing that you didn't do what you agreed to do, and now are trying to make me the problem. I'm not okay with this. Relationship coaches use gray rock as the emotionally neutral place best used with narcissists. That's mindfulness in action. Once you learn to respond to the narcissist with gray rock emotion, you find power, clarity, and freedom. Conflict comes with life, and when you leverage mindfulness, you're in a much better place to respond to gaps. Skillful responses may uncover narcissism and could lead you to end a relationship. That's a win. Skillful responses strengthen a healthy relationship. That's a win. Thanks for joining us at the Change Capability Institute. If you got value from the video, like and subscribe so we can see you in another video.